cars vandalized, we had people robbed, even journalists were attacked today. And some of those people who are conducting or carrying out these attacks were people demonstrating in your name. Do you take your responsibility for those attacks?
No, not at all. What happened today? Today was supposed to be a peaceful demonstration. Our Constitution and Article 1 says that the power in the Republic of Kenya, sovereignty that is in the hands of the people of Kenya. They can either exercise it directly or through their elected leaders. So we were actually invoking that article in our Constitution, read together with Article 37 of our Constitution, which gives our people the right to picket, right to present petitions, right to demonstrate, so long as it is peaceful.
But there are those who will look at the pictures of protesters holding stones, hurling them in the direction of the police and even at some citizens. And then they'll say the Constitution provides for people who are peaceful and unarmed. Would you not say that you're stretching the meaning of peaceful demonstrations if we do see protesters carrying stones?
There's what is called offensive violence, and there's what is called defensive violence. The two are not the same. The police went and basically sealed the residences. People could not come out. They are throwing tear gas at the people within their compounds. So people therefore now came out to defend themselves. They wanted to get out. And that's why they were actually throwing stones at the police. So those two kinds of violence are not the same.
Do you see a situation where Raila Odinga and President William Ruto sit down at a table to talk this out instead of the chaos you're seeing on the streets?
I've said that there are conditions which must be fulfilled before we can have any meaningful discussions. Mr. Ruto must first respect multi-party democracy. Secondly, he must agree that the server will be opened so that we can examine what is in the server. Okay? Thirdly, he must stop the reconstitution, the Electoral Commission, before we can sit down and talk. And of course, finally, he must agree to address jointly with us the issue of the cost of living.
Good questions. Firstly, I'd like to thank BBC for this clip. I'm using it for education purposes only. But let me go play another clip and I'll be back.
Suitcase, kila kitu hakuna askari walishaenda. Oneni kila kitu nani kitu hakuna, pesa yote imeenda. Hapa hakuna kitu imebaki. Tuulize. Hakuna askari walishaenda. Angalia mafua. Kai huyu atupeli anto. Atupeli anto. Siwapatie pani. Unani? Unga. Sawa. Sio, kuna mtu amekanyangiwa hapa ndani Mungu moja.
Polisi walikuwa hapa tu saa hii.
Ayo, askari walishaenda. Watu wakuwa hii. Wakuwa ufa.
Okay. Raila claimed that his protesters, his supporters, were involved in defensive violence. As we see in the clip that I just played, there was nothing so defensive about that. But I don't want to argue about that. What was troubling to me was the conditions that he mentioned, that he said must be met before he stops this whole mandamano. Let's tackle them real quick because I want to be really brief in this video. Number one, he mentioned that Ruto should respect multi-partyism. From where I sit, I don't know about you guys, but I've never heard Ruto once mention anything in the effect or suggesting that he's anti-multi-partyism. That issue had been resolved in 1992 when Moi was against it. And thank God, and thank you, Mr. Raila, among others, who fought for multipartyism. That's over with. Ruto has never tried to stifle any kind of multi-party arrangement, okay? Number two, Mr. Raila said that they should open the server. Again, I keep on saying this is a very, very deceiving and deceitful statement by Raila Odinga. You know, he very well knows that Ruto has no authority, no power to open the servers. Smartmatic are the people who he should be asking to open the server for him to conduct a forensic audit on it, if that's what he wants to do, to ascertain the truth as to what information was there. But again, back in August, Smartmatic were asked about this, and they said their response was that they cannot open the servers because that will be a security issue for them. And they reserve the right to refuse because that's an issue about intellectual property rights. They cannot allow people to go through their stuff like that. So it's not up to Ruto to open the servers. He has no authority. So for Mr. Raila to come and say, I left a link before on the description box if you want to read about the Smartmatic response to Raila's team, Azimio, and to the courts regarding the whole petition thing. This happened when they were trying to get Smartmatic to open the servers, and that's the response they gave, telling them about the intellectual property rights. So check the link out. So I'm not just talking out of my head. Read it, and you'll understand why Raila asking Ruto to open the servers is kind of deceitful. It's kind of niku to enjoy, okay? Because Ruto has no power to do this. He cannot even access the server himself, okay? So check it out. Read the whole the whole piece on the description box, okay? Number 3, he mentioned reconstitution of the Electoral Commission, basically saying that he's not happy with the people who Ruto picked to head the IEBC. That's an issue that he can take through the parliament, okay? It's not an issue worth taking to the Mandamano for, okay? Number 4, last but not least, he said that Ruto should agree to jointly sit with him and his team to come up with a way of bringing the cost of living down. Okay, I didn't mean to laugh, but the Kenyan people, voters, entrusted Ruto with their votes to pick up his team, which Ruto has done. He has his team led by David Ndii, his economic czar, who is tasked with this duty of working out an economic plan that can help Kenyans get out of this economic turmoil, okay? Whether it's trying to strengthening the Kenyan shilling, whether it's creating jobs, whether it's increasing production, whether it's food security, all these things are interrelated. And it takes time. You can't just wake up tomorrow and expect unga to be 2 shillings. Okay? It takes time. There's a different factors that play into this. So let's give Ruto time. A year from now, if unga is still just as high and the standard of living is still high, the cost of living is still high, then we can say we gave this guy more than a year and we are not seeing any change. Okay, we can go to Mandamano. But 6 months into the job, saying that you have to jointly sit with him and come up with an economic plan, as who? As the person who lost the election? Again, in my previous video, I said, if you lose the election, you go back to becoming a private citizen. You don't have a say in the government unless President Ruto picks Mr. Raila as his economic czar. But so far, last time I checked, it was David Ndii. So Mr. Raila, President Ruto does not have to sit down with you or consult you to come up with a plan to help Kenyans bring down the cost of living. You can give your 2 cents. Like I said in my other video, you and your team can come up with your own plan, okay, separate from the government's plan, and show the people, show those people who are taking Mandamano and the Kenyan people, okay, juxtapose it against the government's plan and let the Kenyan people decide which plan do they want to take, okay? You can do that. But Ruto, as the president of Kenya, does not need to consult you to do this, okay? Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. This is Fabrizio Bromano, aka Mr. Kenyan Revolutionary. Subscribe, share, comment, and tell me what you think. I'll talk to you guys later, and peace and blessings.